خب متاسفانه توی بحث مارکتینگ ما یه ذره مخصوصا در حوزه تبلیغات بنری یک ذره از مشابه خارجی عقب‌تر هستیم با توجه به سرویسایی که وجود داره که مجموعه یکتانت با سرویسایی که داره اضافه میکنه مثل ریتارگتینگش و یا تبلیغات اینتراکتیوی که داره انجام میده تونسته یه بخش زیادی از این گپ رو جبران بکنه که خب این امید بخشه باشه.
سلام، خیلی خوشحالیم که دوباره در خدمتتون هستیم. من احسان طریقتم و این اپیزود 9 برنامه ویدیویی رادیکال هستش. همونطور که دیدید توی برنامه‌های قبلی ما در مورد موضوعات مختلف کارآفرینا و دغدغه‌هاشون صحبت می‌کنیم، چیزهایی که به نظرمون توی در واقع ورکشاپ‌های مختلف یا صحبت با کارآفرینا دیدیم که به عنوان موضوع‌ها یا مشکلاتشون مطرح بوده، سعی می‌کنیم اینجا من و محمد رضا با هم صحبت کنیم و توی برنامه‌های مختلف هم دیدید احتمالاً که مهمانان مختلفی رو توی حوزه‌های مربوط به همون اپیزود میاریم و با هم دیگه یه گپی رو حالا یا یه چالشی رو داریم. ما مجدد تو فضای در واقع کار اشتراکی پارادایس هاب هستیم و اگر علاقه‌مند باشید میتونید ما رو از طریق در واقع کانال تلگرام و چرخ آکادمی دنبال بکنید. همونطوری در واقع توییتر من و محمد رضا، اینستاگرام جفتمون، خبرهای مربوط به این حوزه رو در واقع و برنامه‌ها رو دنبال بکنید. سلام محمد رضا.
سلام، منم سلام عرض می‌کنم خدمت شما و مهمونمون و
حالا معرفی می‌کنیم
کسایی که دارن این اپیزود رو می‌بینن. فقط مسئله که از این تو همه اپیزودا داریم میگیم برید کانال آکادمی چرخ، بعد کسی اینو همه رو فالو کنه برگرده به اون اولی که تو اولی شناسه رو گفتیم. قاعدتاً زیرنویس هم میشه. ولی برای دوستانی که به صورت پادکست می‌بینن ویدیوکست
فرحی
آندرلاین ام آر آدرس آکادمی چرخه و در واقع توی اینستاگرام و توییتر خب میتونید با سرچ کردن اسم من و احسان طریقت پیدا کنید.
آره، ما در مورد دست هستیم خلاص. ما امروز یه مهمون خیلی دوست داشتنی داشتیم که خیلی وقت ندیدیمشون، فرانس که در واقع لطف کرده اومده و می‌خوایم با هم راجع به یه موضوع شاید چالش برانگیز برای خودمون که موضوع این هستش که ما کسب و کار خودمون رو راه بندازیم و بشیم یک کارآفرین یا بریم یک جایی استخدام بشیم و یه در واقع سیف سایدی رو داشته باشیم صحبت بکنیم، ببینیم کدومش در واقع به اون یکی برتری داره یا نداره اصلا و اینکه هر کدوم چه در واقع مزایا و معایبی داره. به هر حال هر کدوم از این تئوری ها، هر کدوم از این موضوع طرفداری داره. بریم صحبت کنیم با مهمونمون. فرانس فارسی متوجه میشه ولی ما کل در واقع
سلام.
آره سلام کرد. خوبی؟ ما برنامه رو در واقع انگلیسی جلو میبریم که حالا زیرنویسش میکنیم و بتونیم که در واقع اینطوری از اون زمان هم در واقع بکنیم.
فقط ممکنه بعضی از بچه‌ها فرانس رو نشناسن. ایشون به همراه خانم نازنین دانشور هم بنیانگذاران تخفیفان هستن.
Hi friends, how are you?
Hi Hassan.
Long time no
Pleasure.
see.
Good to see you.
Just miss you. Hope you're doing well and Takhfifan is better as any previous days.
Yes, fortunately I can say yes, that's true.
Okay, if you want to start, say hello.
Okay, so
everybody.
hello everybody. I'm the co-founder of Takhfifan and currently leading the tech team. So Takhfifan right now has 150 people working and we have like discounts pretty much in any area of life that you can imagine, from like restaurants to products to all sorts of activities. Yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
How long you live in Iran?
So, well, it's difficult to say how long I live here, but I've been coming and going for more than 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
How's the life in Tehran?
Well, you know, actually, it intrigued me at the time that I came here for the first time that Iran was a mystery to me. You know, a country that has a big question mark from the outside. And it was one of those places I had to see it for myself. And I'm still fascinated by this country.
So it's still mystery.
It's still, I understand it a bit more, but I still know I understand not that much. You know?
How's Iran from inside?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. You know, it's a beautiful country. It has a lot to offer, and I think a lot of people from the outside don't understand how beautiful it is and how much it has to offer. like in terms of culture, in terms of food, in terms of people. It's a really special place. And I think even the Iranians don't appreciate fully how special this place is.
Because we're used to it.
Yes.
Yes. Friends, I want to start my question about our Iranian startup ecosystem or communities. How do you see this ecosystem in these 7 years approximately? And how is different from the other countries, or for example from Germany or everywhere you want to talk about?
Sure. So I think the ecosystem in Iran is fairly recent. It's a fairly young movement, and I still remember the time that I had to explain the word startup to people, and that was not so long ago. So a lot has changed since then, and there has been a lot of education and a big movement in Iran actually pushing young founders to create their own companies, and there have been some very successful startups by now that are actually changing the way people even live their lives, you know. But compared to international places, like for example Germany, I think there's still a big difference, you know. And actually Germany is maybe not the best place to compare. Like it depends on each city, you know. It's not even a country thing. A startup is something that mostly there's some city that is like the leader of the startup community of a country or maybe even a region. And in Germany, I think it's Berlin, although there are other places that have got some startup movement, but Berlin is the one that strikes out, you know, as being special. And it all started similar to here, really. You know, it started off with like 1 or 2 success stories, and then people became very alert and attent about startups or the internet actually being a place where you could make a living. You know, I think in Berlin maybe it started around early 2000. The first startups were just clones of eBay, things like that. And when they got sold, people got very excited about it. And the sale of a big startup caused a diaspora of more startups, that lots of people then trying to do the same thing. And it created an ecosystem over time where people would create companies, exit companies, create new companies, and create more people that create companies. For the economy, very exciting, you know. I think in Iran we are still not there yet because we don't see big exits, for example. But
we don't have any big exit.
Exactly.
Yet.
We don't have a big exit yet. So startups here have got a different perspective, I guess. There's also not the scope of big exits here like there are in other countries.
Yeah. Iran has a very young population, and lots of the young people and students in college wants to run their company or their startups in these 4 or 5 years recently. I think you have experience work in Germany as employee and employer, yes?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Do you like to talk about that?
For sure.
Employee and employer in Germany?
So I have to be honest, like the moment I left university, I wanted to create a company. You know, I was always inspired by like big successful figures internationally, and I thought that I want to be like them, and I wanted to have that success feeling and change the world. But especially as a young person, I was also very naive. You know, you only see the glamorified version of the startup. You see like a person, you think this person has control over their life. They have like a freedom that others don't have. And it's a very kind of skewed view of the life of a founder, or of the life of a company that is that young, you know. So as an employee, I did not value my job maybe as much as I should have at the time, because I was always thinking that the job is the thing I do in order to take the next step. And now that I have been in a startup for a long time, I can say that jobs have got their really interesting parts as well, you know. A job is necessary to gain really great experience that is relevant to what you want to do later. Just coming out of university with the idea to start something is likely going to fail. It's very difficult to, without any professional experience, go and just produce a successful company. You know, no network, no money, just an idea, and like even if you're very skilled, it is almost impossible to be successful, I would say.
Thank you. Muammer, a friend said about the young people who exit from the university and wants to start their company, but they don't have enough money, they don't have enough network or anything like that. I think you have the same experience as employee and employer. What's your experience in this situation inside of the employer?
I started a bit later than friends because I continued my studies
friends or friends?
no, I mean university-wise. I continued afterward and I did my PhD to the halfway and then I quit it. So basically, I would say he's been in the market way longer than me. So it's difficult for me to compare my experience with his. But the thing is that I would say it's all about risk versus return, almost like any other challenges that you have in your life. You know, it's difficult to start your own startup or company or any other venture once you don't have any experience as employee. Once you're employee in a big organization, it's a big organization. So I would say, it's rough to say, but I would say you make your own mistakes on the cost of company, not on the cost of yourself, on the cost of corporation, on the cost of enterprise. And you accumulate a lot of experiences. And once you are experienced enough, you can start your own company. But it's not for everybody, because a lot of it's about your genes, your DNA, you know. A lot of people do not have enough courages or, enough factors to start their own company. You should be hardworking. You should expect a lot of stochastic factors that might come through your way and make life quite difficult for you, and many other things like this. And many people, they do not want this. Even though it's difficult to have a high return by being employee. If you're employee in the neoclassical economy, in the capitalist world, the capital is the king. So if you're employee and you have a small fraction of a company, it's difficult to have a lot of wealth or make a lot of, create a lot of new values and stuff like this. But many people still want this because they want their life to be 360 degrees. They prefer to have a life that has entertainment, trip, reading your books, making a lot of friends.
You cannot do this 360 in your life because
of course you can.
On something.
But after a long time, maybe you should forget
You're talking about work-life balance, yeah. You know, work-life balance, it's an issue for sure.
Jack Ma, co-founder of Alibaba in China, said if you want from 20 to 30, you'll become an employee in a company just to experience and learn everything in that company, as you said, the cost of that company. But in these days, you can see lots of juniors and young people wants to start their company and their startups because they don't want to become an employee or work for somebody else. In my opinion, you have lack of lots of experience and knowledge to start your company. If you want to start your company, do you think which experience or skills you need to focus on and learn in, for example, 10 years?
Actually, it depends very much what you're going to focus on afterwards. But I think the most important part is that, first of all, you should value employment and you should value a job, because it shouldn't be seen from a very selfish perspective, you know. When you work for somebody, you might have the impression that that person you're working for is making you work too hard and you're receiving too little money in return. You always have this feeling of, I'm being ripped off. Somebody is paying too little for my great service. And at the same time, you want to constantly leave and want to create your own thing. But you should actually understand that when you're an employee, you're not alone. You're part of a group of employees. And if everybody works with a high dedication and with responsibility, they impact the life of their colleagues. You know, when you work hard, maybe there are other people in your company that benefit from that because they also work hard from that, and the company as a whole functions better. So hard work as an employee and appreciation for the job that you do as an employee is important. You know, you should understand your job impacts people. Your job has makes a difference, you know. And if you work hard, it's also the best for yourself. Because if you work hard, even if you have a plan to leave in a couple of years, if you work hard, you actually prove to yourself, first of all, that you can work hard, that you can actually handle hard work. You learn the most, and people value you the most, you know. If you're somebody who doesn't work hard, and after a year quits the job, what kind of person are you? Are you going to be a successful startup founder? I don't think so. If you're somebody who stays at a company 5 years, working hard, making a difference, moving the company forward, pushing it, a lot of people are going to be amazed by your work, and they're going to remember you, and you will have a relationship with your previous employer and your previous like friends that were at work that will support you, that will say, this person is a hardworking, successful person, and he's going to be successful. Your chances are much higher.
But it's very subjective, right? Because it depends really on your utility function and your set of preferences. Some people are money freak, some people are power freak, some people are work freak, you know, depends on the way that you think, the way that you've shaped your life and your mindset and everything. For example, some people, if you say them, you're gonna really impact on other people that are surrounding you in your work area, they say, I don't care that much. I really care about the net asset that I have, the area of my house, you know, the size of my car, etc., etc., etc. So
but
really
actually
depends.
working hard gives you all that as well. Working hard means you're keeping your job, you're probably not going to get fired, you will earn more, you know, everything gets better for you too.
Yeah, but the ceiling, the cap is way below starting around business, right?
You say that. I think if you want to start a company because you think you're going to be rich, I would never start a company anymore. You know, there are jobs that pay huge amounts of salary, you know. There's opportunity to earn money that is outside of employment. Like, for example, you can save your money, you can invest your money. There's no need to start a company in order to be rich. I really believe that.
Is it okay that if you want to become rich, start your company?
No. I think it's
So,
a possible
but
path.
This is the dream of lots of people.
Exactly.
No, it depends on the ecosystem. If you're talking about Germany versus Silicon Valley versus Iran, the answer would be different, isn't it? No. Really?
I think there's still the same problem, you know.
It's
Maybe
very strict saying no. This is true.
you know, in Germany, for example, to start a startup, you have so much competition that most likely you never have a chance to actually be noticed. So it's really hard. Also, employees are very picky because they earn a lot. You know, salaries are very high. It's very, very difficult to start a startup as a young person in Germany, or like even as an older person.
For you, it's going to become an employee.
Yeah, actually, an employee has a kind of comfortable life.
Yeah.
You know, you have security, you get regular paychecks, and you can save your money and invest it. So to become rich in Germany as a startup founder, it's very difficult. It's like playing the lottery. Yes, you can become rich, but mostly you become poor. I have started many companies before Tachvifan, and all of them failed, you know. And every time I had nothing. Like I started at zero, and it was a very devastating experience. And even at Tachvifan, you know, I did not pay myself salary for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, it is not the idea that, oh, you're going to be rich. It's more the idea that you will sacrifice your own life for the company. That's what happens.
At least for some years, you have to sacrifice your
Yes,
needs or your
maybe forever, and
Yeah.
maybe it fails.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you start your company, you are not rich. If you work for somebody, you are not rich. So how you can become rich?
I think in both cases, right? You can become rich in both cases. You can become rich as an employee. You can become rich as a startup founder. You can become rich in many other ways as an investor. But all of those things combined, you should always be working hard, regardless, I think.
Yeah, the precise answer there is no generalization here. Depends, really depends on the situation. You might become rich if you have your own startup. You might not become rich if you have your own startup. And
Most likely you will lose everything.
Yeah, you will lose everything most likely. And the same thing is true if you're an employee to somebody else.
Mamers, if you want to, if you can go back to your 20 and you can choose between employee and employer, which one do you choose and why?
I would definitely go for being employee rather than starting my own company, because once I'm 20, I have almost zero experience.
So why lots of these young people wants to start their company?
I think it's not for most of them, it's not a proper choice. You know why? Because consider Sharif University of Technology. A lot of top talents of the country, they participate in the nationwide university entrance exam, and once they get top rank, they enter Sharif University for engineering fields, right? And after 2 or 3 years, a lot of them get depression because they say, is it the right thing? Do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And the answer is no. So they go to the management school in Sharif to get their MBA, Master of Business Administration, which is not a proper choice either, because once you are 22, it doesn't make that much of sense to get your MBA degree. In other countries, you get it once you're a mid-level manager with a lot of experience, you're 30, you're 40, but you have no other choice. The same thing is true when people start their own startup here. There are not good jobs in this country as they are in Germany. High-paid salary with a clear career path, with a lot of possibilities for job rotation and everything. Once you don't have that, many people prefer, okay, it's better to have my own company rather than being unemployed or thinking about what I should do in future. So I would say this problem comes merely because of the lack of strong economy with sustainable economic growth.
Do you think it's something like a hype in this 2 or 3 years? Everybody has a startup, everybody wants to run
Partly yes. Maybe 50% of the problem comes from this phenomena, and the other 50% comes from the fact that people do not have other choices. For example, suppose that you can start your own career as becoming a very good banker, and you're a really hardworking person, very talented person. You start first year with a monthly salary of $1,000, next year $2,000, and after 5 years maybe $10,000 per month. I'm almost sure that you won't start your own startup, but that possibility doesn't exist in Iran at the moment. So many people start their own company just for the sake of that dream to become rich.
I think it's also a question of patience, Many young people, especially in their 20s, they're very impatient. They think that after 1 month working at a company, they know how to run a company, and the next month they quit, and the next month they fail their startup already.
I think they know everything.
Yes.
And you're the best.
The problem is, starting a startup needs a kind of mixture of actually, you have to be patient, you have to have something that you really can offer to people, because at the end of the day you're selling to somebody, and you're actually making somebody's life better with your startup. Somebody needs to buy your service. So whatever you produce, if it's a service or if it's a product, it has to add value to people's lives. So you need to actually do some homework, learn how to do things properly, learn how to work properly and disciplined. I think you need to have at least 5 years in one single position to actually make a difference. In most companies, if you work for like a couple of months, there's no difference at all. It's like probation time, It's too soon to leave. And if you even work for a year or 2 years, it's not enough really, You barely start to make an impact. I think an employee starts to make an impact at about 3 years onwards. Then they can make a real impact on a company. And when they leave after that, they also have so much know-how and skills that they can actually much more likely be successful in a startup. But the one thing that they might not know is like the startup is like a baby, It's something that is really nice to have, but once you have it, you realize that you've actually become the parent, and there's no way out of that. So no easy way. So all your private time goes away. All the time with your friends goes away. The company will be the #1 priority. So if there's some angry customer calling, if there's some angry partner calling, if there's some angry employee calling, you have to pick up the phone. There's no more free time, It takes your time.
7 days.
I fully agree with you. I remember the time that I was studying in Barcelona. A friend of mine who was at the time CEO of Rahnema came there to visit for Mobile World Congress. And I was talking to him. He was my classmate back to bachelor time. And I asked him, I would like to come to Iran and test working in a professional sector rather than academia. And I want to be there for 1 year and do this. And he was laughing and saying, come on, with 1 year you can do almost nothing. And I was saying, come on, you can do a lot of things. In 1 year I write a lot of papers, in university. But now I can understand what he was saying to me that time.
Also, yeah, also imagine how difficult it is to change something inside a company. For example, some process, a simple process, like, I don't know, the way people apply for holidays. You are fighting against resistance. There's always going to be the majority of people against you. When you start a new business, the majority of society is against you. Nobody cares. To make an impact, actually, you have to convince everybody that your business is actually something that they want, you know? So you're fighting against constant adversity as a company and also inside your company for the smallest change. It's like swimming against the stream, you know? It's hard, and it's, you know, for a long time you will have to do that in order to be successful. Eventually it will get easier, and maybe at some point the stream reverses and goes with you. But that requires this hard work.
Both of them
It has a lot of masochism.
Pain tolerance, I would say.
Yeah, pain tolerance. Yeah.
Friends, you mentioned in your answer about the know-how skills to become both employee and employer. If you want, just mention about 5 skills to become a perfect employer and perfect employee. Tell us about those skills.
Okay, so
Essential skills.
from my perspective, the most important skill is your ability to actually communicate with people. I think that's the most important one. So whatever field you're going to be in, initially you do everything alone. Maybe the first couple of weeks or months, the startup means it's just you. And then you need to find people that help you do the work, because you can no longer do it alone. You need to actually explain to them what they should do really well. So you need to be able to communicate well. You need to be organized so that you can actually allocate the resources efficiently, because especially a startup has no money normally. So the little bit of money that it has to be allocated as efficiently as possible. So you need to organize everything. You need to have the hard skills. The product that you're producing or the service that you're producing requires skills. Like if it's in the IT field, you probably need programming skills. If it's in the engineering field, you might need manufacturing skills or something like that. You need to have the hard skills too. And then you need to have real strong perseverance. So, like I said, you're fighting constantly against the flow. People are against you all the time. Nobody wants to change in society. Nobody wants to change inside a company even. So you have to be persistent. You can never give up. You always have to fight for your mission at the end of the day, you know. And also, the only way this works is if you're honest. If people feel that you're cheating them in any way, they will leave you, and you will never be able to trust anybody. So honesty is important, you know. It goes hand in hand with transparency. But so I think these are the skills that you need for sure.
These
it was 6 probably.
Just work for employee and employer, both of them.
Yeah.
Marza, what about you?
That almost summarizes everything.
Yeah.
I just would add few.
Communication, organize, be
Have the hard
clear,
skill.
hard skill, everything.
Few more remarks.
Yeah.
A very good common sense if you want to be a good entrepreneur. Otherwise, go for being employee. A very good sense of judgment.
Yeah, it's very good.
Being quick in your reflection. You know, you should decide sometimes in the matter of minutes or hours, not more. That's it.
Very nice. For the conclusion, if you want to add something to
Yes, I would say to anybody who considers starting a startup, I would say, first of all, do a job that is really relevant to the thing that you want to start. And work as hard as you can. Impress people, make people impressed with you, you know. Stay for more than 3 years. And then you always have the choice. At the end of that, many doors open, because if you have had a positive impact, many doors open. People will offer you jobs, people will offer you co-founding opportunities. People will open doors for you from your hard work. And then it is yours to choose. Either I take a higher paying job, or I start my own company, or maybe I have already got somebody else who started a company and I can be a co-founder of that and they give me some equity. It's less risk for me if they've already done like the first couple of years of work and now it's like halfway stable, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say whatever you do, work as hard as you can.
Thank you very much.
Working hard. I would like to quote Angela Merkel of Germany, the Chancellor of Germany. I remember she was asked a few years ago, once Germany won the World Cup, what's your secret of success? And she said, almost nothing. We have 2 things in our culture, being ambitious and being hard worker. And these two things hand in hand gives us everything, you know. So really hard working is the key to almost everything. Yeah. It's good to put your effort in a right way, in a right direction, but once you are hard working, almost within few months or within few years, you will find the right direction.
In World Cup 2018, the boss of the German team has a very nice quote on the bus, which was that best never rest.
Yeah.
It was very simple, but it's very difficult for us to do that. Best never rest, and I think it's a hard working. It's inside that.
I have to say maybe one final thing about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think hard work is definitely super important, but it doesn't mean don't sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to get enough sleep to actually be working effective. So don't do like 3 days in a row and 3 nights in a row without sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Work, but work sensibly and pay it forward. You know, when you put in the hard work and you support other people, it will come back to you. You know, it's much better than trying to get away and getting some advantage of people.
I think hard work with efficiency, not just hard work in any way you want.
You know, like I like to have the kind of the mission that I like to sort of see, or the way of work that I like is actually be nice and work hard.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
don't be negative with people. Just be nice and work hard, and get the others to be nice and work hard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for
too.
your time and for you, محمد رضا. خیلی ممنون از اینکه برنامه رو دیدید. گپ خیلی خوبی بود با فرانز محمد رضا راجع به کارآفرینی و کارمندی. اسمش ما گذاشته بودیم از 9 تا 5. حالا فکر نمی‌کنم این اسم بمونه یا شاید هم نمی‌دونم چجوری بچه‌ها پشت تصمیم میگیرن.
یه جمله خانم افسری داره، مدیر آکادمی چرخ، همیشه به
من چپ میگم.
همیشه به کسایی که از 9 تا 5 کار می‌کنن میگه آدم ناهاری. یعنی آدمایی که میان کار برای اینکه ناهار بخورن فقط. خب آره خوبه که آدم حتی اگه کارمندم هست آدم ناهاری نباشه.
چند اپیزود قبلم فرشید یه اصطلاح خیلی باحال داشت، خوشم اومد. استارتاپ افسرده.
آدم ناهاری در استارتاپ افسرده، در اکوسیستم خوشحاله.
مرسی. آکادمی چرخ رو دنبال بکنید. ما سیزن 1 تقریبا رو به اتمامه و منتظر فیدبک های شما هستیم که برای سیزن 2 که اختصاصی می‌خوایم، تخصصی می‌خوایم راجع به بحث سرمایه‌گذاری صحبت کنیم، اونجا بتونیم خیلی از سوالات دیگه‌تون رو هم جواب بدیم و با ما در ارتباط باشیم. توییتر و اینستاگرام من محمد رضا رو میتونید پیدا کنید. کانال تلگرامی در واقع چرخ هم که فرهی_MR هستش. مرسی ازتون و بعد از ظهرتون بخیر.